Yeah, I'm trying to, you're really only working on the head, right? 'Cause that's what really.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
let me summarize what I did prior. So what I did is I took the head. I'm gonna line it up with here, and I'm just gonna kind of position it roughly how deep I wanted it to go on the handle, and I just kind of marked out where the bottom of that head's gonna sit, and then I marked out like where the top of the head's gonna sit, and then I left myself about a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch extra. That's just a me preference. I like to have that in case of any errors or anything like that. And I cut that top end off. You'll notice where those other two pieces were, I cut about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch off. That is purely to save myself effort later on, because I only need to get the axe down that far now instead of, you know, from the top of the handle there. So it's just less wood to shave off. I'm only going to do that if the kerf here is you know, ample enough to where I can get back on it. So kerf for terminology is just that right there. You'll notice that it doesn't go down that far, and if we look at my two marks here, that's where the kerf is. I need to take it down a lot further, typically about 2/3 down the head. It's probably good, so I'll take that kerf maybe down to right there or something. Currently right there. This is kind of a pain, so if you have a Sawzall or something, that's a lot better to do that. Sometimes I do this step first, just because it's the hardest to get it out of the way at the beginning. Using a sharp saw is good. But I'll just get back in that way. Right, they run up and down.
Yeah.
So these are A grade handles, really good quality fiber. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, and even this one's pretty good.
Thanks. Give me a flop.
So yeah, you can take a look and see that there, how they run kind of straight up and down. You want that because the fibers are stronger that way versus laterally. Usually a B or C grade handle, you might get the curve, or you might get a piece of heartwood in there where you notice the wood's like a lot darker and you're closer to the center of the tree. That's really weak. Or, you know, if the grains are going that way, that's pretty bad. So, but these are nice. These are pretty high-end handles. That's why they're $40 a pop or something. So, I'm almost there.
I don't see ash as much. Like, I know ash is declining because of the
I think it's pretty good, but it's just not as strong as hickory. A lot of the Australian companies, they'll use different trees in the eucalyptus family. They call it like black butt. It's like one of the names of it, and then there's a few others. Also super hard, like strong wood too. So yeah, really good stuff. Any of the Australian handles are great. Jason Lentz makes probably the best in the United States. That's what a handful of our race axes are on his handles. All right, I'm about sick of this. Let's just keep moving. We're almost there anyway. Yeah.
So do you cut it down to that length? That way the wedge can really.
Yeah. So that's essentially what you want, right? Is the wedge to extend further down.
Yeah, you want it to get as low as possible.
This is not it.
Not it.
It's yeah.
What? Okay.
If it's not there, check on the shelf with the screws.
Okay. Just a bunch of.
I'll
like,
come in
big-
there if you
I
if
really-
you're
I-
gone for a while.
Okay.
I'll come in there. So yeah, anyway, you want the wedge to actually get down in there and expand the wood fully. So an axe head, when you look down the eye, the bottom side is going to be a smaller size than the top, right? It's beveled on the inside, kind of outwards, so they allow for the wood to expand up in there when you drive the wedge towards the top of the head. And that's just because it locks in the place of where the head sits on the wood a little bit better. And that's common for all of them. Some of the race axes, it's like really minute, but these kind of just like common tool style axes, it's pretty prominent. You might be able to see it. It's, I don't know, it's tough. Yeah. Sometimes also, before you start putting the head on, there might be burrs along the bottom side here. Especially if you start pounding the head onto the handle, you'll see stripes of where a piece of metal might be sticking up. You can take a chainsaw file or something and just kind of chamfer that edge and make it smooth, which is pretty important to do. But Jack gets that handle, or that wedge. Oh wait, and I'll saw just a tiny bit more. What I like to do is just kind of take the head and the axe and just kind of roughly size up what I need to take down. Usually I like to leave the front side of the handle. That's it, dude.
Sweet. All right,
Yeah.
We only got 2. So
That's fine. And that's poplar. That is
okay.
most common with the wedge. This is poplar.
Is that because it can expand better?
It's easier to manipulate a little bit when you're shaving it, sometimes to fit the axe.
It's not going to snap as easily.
Yeah, so I like to kind of line up from the front side of the axe. I don't like to take off a lot of material in there. I think it makes the axe weaker, right? Because you can imagine if you leave a shelf right there, those fibers are liable to split this way, versus if you were to take the back down, right? So I can see here, like I need to probably shave off the back side of this a scooch and then take the cheeks down on it.
Just a tad.
Eli, welcome. So tools I got here for that, a couple different ones. Everybody's got different opinions on what they like. A draw knife for moving the biggest of materials. A rasp, farrier's rasp, for like horseshoes and stuff, right? This is great for also moving a ton of material. A finer wood file, that's just a me preference because I like to kind of smooth and chamfer the edges. When you do that, they just don't split when you drop it on the ground or anything. It's easy. And then our piece of denim, which I'll explain later. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start. This draw knife is, mostly sharp. So
That's the job.
with a draw knife, you take off a lot of material pretty quickly, and this wood is a little bit on the dry side, so it's pretty easy to catch a splinter and chip out the whole thing, right? And you can't put wood back on, so you got to go real slow and methodical here. So the draw knife just peels, essentially. You can see how it almost wants to splinter instead of peel right there. So I take my time and I hold the ends of the handle because I feel like it kind of grabs it a little bit more naturally.
So what's the point of taking off the wood?
So the handle will always be a little bit bigger than the eye, the axe eye, and you need to fit the handle to the axe size. Yeah. So cheeks are a little bit big, and remember why I cut off the top part earlier, right? This is less wood I got to shave off.
If you were a taller person hanging your axes for yourself, would you want to leave a little bit more on the height just so you can get a little bit more reach?
Yeah, totally. Like mostly longer handle, but yeah, you could hang it a little bit closer to the end. I think it's a little weird sometimes, so I don't really do that. I like to leave about a 3/4 inch above the shoulder. Call that the shoulder right there. You could really nestle that sucker down on there though if you were shorter and wanted to really squeeze every bit out of it.
So would it be bad to leave the excess on like the top of the head, like excess wood?
Well, we wouldn't be able to get the head on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you stain it after it's hung?
I don't stain it at all. Use no stain. The only stuff that you should put on an axe handle is linseed oil, or there's another one. It's another. There's some brand that makes this. It's some kind of other mineral oil, but with beeswax, and it preserves the wood pretty well too. So we use boiled linseed oil, which is nothing new, right? That's what we used to make paint with for barns. What that does is it actually fills the cell walls, the interior of the cells on the wood. It keeps them from shrinking. So, and then linseed oil does kind of leave a little bit of a lamination on the end. So if you had a handle that you've put linseed oil on a couple of times, you'll notice it's got a varnish on it, and you could sand that off and redo it again. Sometimes if that varnish gets really thick, oil won't be able to penetrate into the wood and it'll dry out anyway. So just do a little bit at a time, and I'll kind of check and, kind of see where I need to go, right? Look all around it. Some people do this thing where you can kind of line it up and take the pencil and mark inside there. I don't know. It's all right. So I notice I have one cheek a little bit more done than the other, so I'm gonna flip over and hit that side now too. Super important to do this evenly, because otherwise what can happen is your axe might sit a little cockeyed on the handle that way. So you guys see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that happens, the hands aren't pointing the same direction as the axe, and it's less than favorable. So,
How'd you learn all this?
trial and error. Yeah.
Jesus.
So like, right when I was vice president, this is gonna drive me nuts. When I was vice president, like we had like no senior. I was the most senior member, and I went from being a freshman to vice president. So we had like a couple of axes left, and they like broke pretty quickly, right? Because we also didn't know how to take care of our stuff. So it was just like YouTube for a long time, and then just doing it like a whole bunch really helps. Because especially if you use the axes or use the equipment that you work on, because then you'll, that's okay, I got it. Firsthand, you'll know what the heck works and what doesn't, right? So, especially for chainsaw chains, right? Hey, Trevor, welcome.
Hanging handles.
You are.
Hanging axes. Good handles.
So, I got the cheeks pretty close. Pretty close. I think maybe just a little bit more work on this forward part of the cheek. Maybe a little bit off the back, but I might go ahead and use the rasp now to do that.
Since you're kind of getting.
Yeah, let's get raspy with it. Gotta find right where the fit is here. Two sides to a farrier's rasp, right? You got a pretty coarse side and then a more mellow side. They're both really aggressive. So they're really good at taking off material pretty quickly. Just like our chainsaw files, these are directional, so they're only going to cut on the push stroke. Super important to remember, right? If I drag back, nothing happening, right? But if I push forward, you can see the chips coming off of that. Another good thing too is you can kind of see that score pattern it leaves on there. If you want to add extra grip down at the towards the doe's foot of the handle, hit that with the farrier's rasp too. So I'll flip over, hit both sides here for a bit. Have you heard from Jace?
Yeah, he texted me.
Okay. I
He
tried
didn't,
calling.
he didn't say he was going to be here today, though.
He told me. Yeah. So I called him. I don't know.
He said he was coming to Well, we were supposed to get a lab together. I didn't see him there either.
Oh yeah. Maybe he's fallen ill.
I don't think so.
Great heavens.
Great heavens. Would anybody like to try the farrier's rasp?
Farrier's rasp.
Yeah, do it.
I don't know. I'm gonna write that down because I'm good at getting one of those.
Bro.
Trevor knows about shoeing horses.
Yeah, dude.
It's okay if you're shy.
I see those videos all the time on TikTok.
It's so entertaining.
Dude, I guess, yeah, they get pretty fussy. Like the ones that have like the abs. Yeah,
I don't like
that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean,
One time I saw a picture of a horse and stuff without an animal around it.
I mean, I
Oh,
agree.
damn,
I just don't like looking
This
at
this vice is subpar.
Yeah.
this is on my Instagram.
Anyway, sometimes another thing that can happen is the kerf that comes from whoever made it might not be straight. If you notice it, or correct it if possible, especially if you have access to a bandsaw or something like that. That's a really good thing to do.
It's a leg workout. So you have to like sit and squat for a while. And usually when you're like popping off horseshoes, when you get it like half of the way off, you have to get it the rest of the way off before you can set the horse's foot down. And usually once you get it like halfway off, it'll start like kicking and moving around. So you're just like holding onto his foot, just like trying to pull it off.
Okay, so on this head we're good top and down side. I just got to work those cheeks down just a skosh more. Do you guys kind of see what I'm talking about here?
Yeah, it's the left and right.
You can come close if you want to look. It's
Are
okay.
these new handles?
Yeah.
We just got them.
Yeah.
They've been here for like a week.
Oh, have they?
So I'm gonna go ahead and keep hitting the rasp here. If anybody wants to hit this farrier's rasp, you know, feel free. Still got
We got rid of all of them here.
Jackie, you volunteering right now? Is that what you're over here?
I'd be
Okay,
down.
go over here and
direct-
take some swipes.
Directional.
Right, so I like to do a lot of the pull work with that left hand, same way we file our chainsaws.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there a reason you're going at like a? Is there a reason you're
yeah,
going at
it
45?
bites. It bites the grain a little bit more
Okay.
friendly. You could try it and see, right? And then go.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
See, it bites the
back.
grain a little bit better.
And then how you don't want to? I don't want to go here, right? Because I'm gonna start.
No,
filing
yeah,
this
you want to
kinda
kind of
supportive.
Yeah, you don't want to get down into the shoulder much at all.
Because then I'm just getting rid of what's already
Yeah.
what little is
Yeah.
left.
And so on the handle, sometimes you'll notice the shoulder might even be a little fatter, and especially once you have to file or shave off a lot of this top side stuff. what'll happen is the head, you just squish it down onto here,
Yeah,
and
you
then,
mushroom
but
it,
the wood wants to push it back up. But then when you put a wedge in there, it squishes it down, so you have the squeeze going on from top and bottom on the handle. Okay, while Jackie Boy's working away on that, I brought my axe box. Which we got some stuff. Oh yeah, I was gonna play music too. For all that. Keep going, Jack. This is a basic stone jig I have. And this one just works
Is that
on
personal or is that?
This is mine, yeah.
It's not for you.
Yeah.
It is a cool contraption.
So yeah, you know, this guy just kind of works on this little swivel jig here, and you actually can set the angle and do a little bit of work. And there's a handful of stones that come with it, which we'll do at the end once we get an axe on. Go ahead, flip it over, hit the other side, and check it.
I think I saw Angus post a video doing that.
Angus has got nice ones. He had a friend make a custom jig for him, and I'm gonna steal his design.
I mean, why?
In a friendly way.
It's educational purposes.
Yeah.
Can you buy them? Like how much? Are they?
Yeah, this one was like $160.
It would be good for the team to have.
It would be, because yeah, we could save a lot of money, you know. on
Well,
working
also,
on
yeah,
stuff.
once you're gone,
And then
we're
this
not
is
gonna
a
obviously use
this is a honing stone that I bought from Angus, and this is like an old one, and you feel it. It's like super smooth, right? You almost think like that won't hurt metal, but it does, and that's how you get the razor finish that's on our race axes and stuff. What's that?
Use this water.
Well, yeah, you would use like soapy water for the hone stone. When you're doing the sharpening stones, honing oil, or in this case, I'm using vegetable oil because I don't have any honing oil right now. Another thing you can do for quick fixes is a diamond stone. Check the head. Diamond stones are good for quick fixes. If you notice a roll developing and you need the axe that day, you can kind of work one out. Well, that's a weird way to say that. You can fix it, you know, right? Just kind of touch that up. This is like, I mean, I think you can get this at like hardware stores and stuff. Smith's diamond stone, KME, or no, what the hell is it called? DMT is a really good brand for diamond stones. You can get a high-end one for $40, and they're like the table side kind, so you can actually work an edge on a table, which is really nice too.
I mean, if you want to double check, it looks like still that one cheek is bigger than
Yeah, take a
the
look
other.
in a second. Anybody else want to look at the hone stone? No? Okay.
My buddy had one of those, and it was like a couple of passes on a knife, and it was like that much sharper. It was
Yeah,
like-
yeah,
it was-
so,
like you said, I was like, this isn't gonna do anything.
right,
And
it
then-
doesn't even really remove the material. All you're doing is, it's like putting a comb on your hair, like for just grooming the blade. Like, do what you want. I have another one here in my pocket.
Dude, my knife is so big.
This is more natural. This is an Arkansas stone too. It's really soft. Oh God!
I messed it up.
No, it's okay. But you see how you're really heavy on that one side?
Oh,
Versus
yeah.
the
I
other
see
one?
what- Yeah, so we want to make it even.
Yeah, yeah. So let me even that up real
Yeah,
quick,
understandably.
and then we'll go ahead and test fit. I don't know, I think I bought that from like some mountain man scammer like 20 years ago or something.
It's like $10 cheap. I'm surprised that I saved it. I'm surprised that I still.
God almighty, this thing is less than stellar.
You can tell, like, when I close into this thing, it's like if here's the what's it called, channel.
Let's get our groove on, huh?
Like the rest of it kind of drags against it, but I'm like, well, it's not the edge. So.
Do you guys have any questions in the
I
meantime?
don't. It's pretty difficult.
Okay.
I've been using it, I never working it, and then I'm sorry about that. I'll sit and work on it
Also,
for a little
sometimes what can happen is if you're not paying attention to the top end of the head and you're just working the bottom, you'll end up kind of mooning it out. So make sure you're hitting the end, right? That's where your needs to slide on first. So you guys might be noticing it takes a while to do this, right? We're not even on the point where the head can slide on now. So that's why it's really important to take care of our equipment, right? And you know, like, this is an axe, not a hammer, so use it as an axe. Oh, we could even go just a skosh more on the backside on here. Do you guys see that?
I have these nice pair of really
Yeah, the back.
Just maybe just like a millimeter or something off the end of that.
Barely, yeah.
So good.
Never mind. Zoomed in for nothing.
I don't know what he's doing. I'm gonna just save us some time there. Done.
I mean, whoa. Thin blue line person, but
Wow.
I like it to be like scary tight. You know what I mean?
I mean-
Jesus, I like it to be a good
No,
fit.
no, we got context.
Like I said, they are.
Yeah, you know the front side of these cheeks could use a little more. Yeah, let me just take a little bit more off here, and then we'll be solid, right?
You're like a librarian.
Well, for educational purpose.
This piece of denim that I have that we're gonna use our most important tool here is only a thing that's found here that I know of. I don't know why.
Denim?
Yeah.
So you're the only one that uses it?
Or sandpaper. No, somebody did in the past. All of our axes were hung that way with a piece of denim. And I don't know what really it adds, but I'm gonna keep that tradition alive for some reason.
It's like a good luck charm.
Yeah, exactly. Right? You know, honor people. That's good. Dude, we are so close. Okay. So yeah, I just want you guys to understand that like doing this, it's a labor of love, you know, and each one of these axes all put together, just monetary value, right? You're looking around $100. So if you think about it, that's almost your entire dues to be on this team. So, and that's just one piece of equipment that everybody shares. So what we do goes a long way, and it's really important to take care of our stuff.
you don't have to get that close.
Damn. We are nigh upon it. How's everybody's Friday going?
Pretty good.
So what did you do if you hung it and then you realized that you messed it up after you hung it?
That was too small or
You
something?
just wait the handle, basically.
You could go further down the handle and try. Or, yeah. You know, you could really try to get a monster wedge. What you can do, can I see this wedge real quick? More likely than not, you're gonna not fit the entire wedge in there. You're just probably gonna go like that before it maxes out. You can make it shorter because right, it's wider at the top. Or if you have a belt sander or something, you could sand that to make it a fatter angle so that it gets broader quicker, you know, as you pound it in. So that's one kind of cheat. It might get you a 32nd of an inch or something,
It's also kind of risky.
or a 64th of an inch. But yeah, it's super risky because you might take too much. I take my time doing this because, man, it is easy to fuck this up, just like you were saying, Eva.
Seems like
It
you're
is
close.
super easy to fuck it up. We're nigh,
Or 9.
like Bill. So we haven't even gotten to filing these heads, right? If you guys take a look, I mean, you tell me what's wrong with that head. On the actual edge, the blade.
It has a chip in it.
Yeah. That one I think I filed not too long ago, but I just did a rough filing, you know. Filing also takes a long time, so
Yeah.
you know, when you guys are peeling your blocks, when we go to Idaho and stuff, or when you're peeling your blocks for practice here, you're gonna be really glad you had a sharp axe. So look at that, now we're starting to actually get on there. And what you can do is once you kind of get it on, if you have a solid surface below you, a piece of wood maybe, just kind of tap it, right? The inertia of the weight of the head will kind of bang itself on there. We never want to, my hammer go. Oh yeah. We never want to head to head in any way because we're going to damage the metal. I'll show you guys how we use some science to kind of get the head back on there. If you get stuck like this, we'll use another piece of wood. This is just a piece of a cutout handle called a drift, we would call it. And you can just use wood to bang that handle out. Just like, yay. So now we got our first kind of, Lord almighty, context clues on what we need to do now on that head, or the handle. I'll trade you.
No, I don't think that's a good trick.
So check it out, right? You can see I have a score line along here where the handle's a little fat, even some paint rubbed off on there. Those are the areas that I need to hit to make this handle fit on there a little bit better. So that's what I'm gonna do. If you guys want to volunteer at any point, you're more than welcome to get up in this piece.
But you don't want to take it down too far, right? 'Cause don't you want that kind of that mushroom curl?
Yeah, you want it to be as tight as possible, right? The tighter the fit, the longer that head's gonna stay together. Another thing is, as handles get old, they dry out, no matter how much you oil them and stuff. So even if you never break it, there's a life expectancy on these things. One thing you can do is if your head, the handle shrunk on the head of your axe and it's loose, and you're like really in a pinch, you're in the woods or whatever, working on Grandpa's farm in Texas, you can soak it in a bucket of water or in a creek, and the water will fill the cells of the wood and expand it enough until it dries out.
That's
So,
not what it sounds
it'll
like.
get you out of a pinch, but I wouldn't recommend it. So yeah, you guys remember the name of the oil that we use? Boiled linseed oil. It's not actually boiled. I think it was some kind of old term for something else they do to it to like give it some kind of properties. But yeah, we don't use like any of that Danish oil or lacquer or nothing like that, right? Because that'll really fuck with your hands when you're swinging a lot. You know what I mean? If this is sticky in any way possible,
Oh, yeah.
dude, you are gonna be in Blister City. You ever been to Blister City?
Yeah.
Yeah, blister on my
Peeling
blister,
after
yeah.
conclave.
Yeah, peeling. You guys will learn that. So if I want to bang this head down a little more, I'm gonna flip the axe upside down like this. The reason why all these axe handles are flat on the bottom. See how that sunk it down on there a little bit more? And I just kind of keep it loose in my left hand here and I strike it like that. Same deal, the inertia of the head keeps it stable while the handle moves down. And so now if we look real close, like have a little bit of wood shaving there where it peeled up actually. So now I can look real close and kind of gauge what else I need to take down on this. You guys see that? A little bit on the cheeks, maybe a tiny bit on the front, just because I like the way it's sitting on there. The back looks done.
So you're gonna wiggle the head back off and shave it a little bit more.
Yeah, I am. So it's also really important to keep in mind whether you want the axe open or closed, and that's literally the angle this way on the head. And you guys know what an axe looks like, but the good test to do is it should rest right at the bottoms of the dough foot, maybe about 2/3 of the way down the blade there. That's where that should rest. Because if that changes this direction here, you're going to see that when you lay it on the table.
So if you shave down the front, are you concerned about it changing the angle?
It can, yeah. That's why it's kind of a balance game. Come on. Of how much is too much, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, fucker. Also, if you're working with like a race axe or something, put a piece of masking tape on the end so you don't have that just like razor edge coming out at you. You guys see the score lines once again on there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so those are the areas that we're gonna hit. Even a little paint right there.
Yep.
Labor of love here, guys.
Cool, kinda
Labor of
tails.
love. So just get back on it on the rasp. Hey. Has anybody like done anything like this before? No?
Only here.
Only here, right? The way we do throwing axes is pretty similar too, right? It's a double bit axe. You don't have to worry too much about the angle because you'll see it a little easier, you know? And really, with how we use throwing axes, right? You throw them, just kind of put them together so that they hold. And, you know, it doesn't have to be pretty.
Yeah.
Just put a pin in it, wedge the crap out of it,
Let's see how long it lasts.
Let's see how long it lasts, right? What's the easiest way to break an axe?
Throw it.
So we've been doing this for a while now,
Good, yeah.
and we still haven't finished one axe.
You're at 30 minutes of just shaving it.
Yeah, just shaving and yapping.
What's better?
I don't like it yet. I already know. I'll keep going. I like to use my left hand to grab the smooth area there and just pull. Same way as we file chainsaw chains, right hand's just a guide for the angle. Left hand pulls. Don't know how, don't know why, but it's usually more accurate. Make sure you're filing the same amount on both sides. So it's really important to have a ton of riggers around for when we go to competition, right? Because if we bring 20 people, 18 of them want to chop, guarantee it. So that means you have 18 or 36 blocks to peel. So you got to have 18 axes that people can use, or 36 axes, something like that. So super important to have just tons of materials ready for when you go to comp. Peeling is something that needs to get done quick at every competition. Do you guys know what I mean when I say peeling?
No.
Okay, thank you. Peeling is we get our chopping blocks, right? They'll usually have like a stack of timber sitting on their field, you know, straight timber like these here, and you'll have somebody, the block master or whatever, that's gonna go ahead, cut out the best blocks, 28-inch sections usually, and they're gonna put those into areas based on their diameter, because right, every event we have a little bit different diameter. Men's underhand, women's vertical, it's all a little bit different, and it's whoever decides to set those, right? The host decides to set what those numbers are.
What also
About halfway in.
sucks is that, like, depending on what kind of wood they sourced, you might have to shave off like 8 inches diameter wise. So
This is a me
you know,
preference.
if people are doing
I
that
like
for
it to stick out about a quarter inch, half inch.
if people are doing that for 2 blocks, you know, people are going to be waiting or peeling a while.
Yeah. Wood glue or just straight in?
Yeah, wood glue, but we also have to pin ours. So I'll show you what that is here in a minute. And your peeling axes have to be pinned as well. Shit happens, dude. You're swinging a piece of material, and peeling at a comp is always fucking chaos.
Yeah, seriously.
It is chaos because it's you and 30 other monkeys from the other teams, and you're all weird, right? Everybody's a weird kid when you do this. So, yeah. So it's like you guys are a bunch of other, like, bothering a bunch of like old people, like, hey, can you measure my block? Can you measure my block?
Can you
And-
double check?
And then they're like, you have an inch and a half to go still. And you're like, fuck.
I've already been here.
Yeah, and you've been there
45
45
minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's night, and you know you gotta get. That's like you gotta get it done before you
Usually
can do
we're
any,
doing it at night. Yep.
Yeah, before we can do anything else, because you're peeling usually the day before, because they want to trap the moisture in the competition wood as long as possible.
That's true. The wetter, the better. For wood. Jesus. It's true. It's true. So yeah, have you guys heard much about this competition at the University of Idaho?
I've heard of it.
It's a fucking good one.
fun.
That's my favorite one.
It's a lot of fun.
I mean, half the fun is just the travel with the team. Like you just gotta.
Is everyone able to go?
No.
No.
Probably not. There's like 60 people on this team.
Well,
The
maybe.
most we've ever brought somewhere was 24.
Okay.
So when you compete, there's a difference between your school and your team. So teams are limited to 8 people, four boys, 4 girls. So you'll usually have 2 or 3 teams per school. You'll have like CSU A, CSU B, CSU C, and your points are then corresponding to your team, then your school afterwards. That's how they score that.
How do you do that when the team was smaller, or if other teams are smaller, they just link up with other schools' teams, or
What do you mean?
like if you only had 3 people on a team or something like that?
Yeah, that's true. There's a minimum number of people that you need to qualify for a team. I think it's 3. or 4.
Or
If
if they were
you
like all
don't,
guys or
if you
something.
don't join a team, then your points don't really count for nothing. That's what happened to Angus last Choptoberfest because he was the sole representative
Yeah.
from Oregon State. We still got a ways to go. You guys can see we got some
We're only,
peeling
what,
going on the
halfway?
front. Is that?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're only like what? What are we on the top? Like halfway?
Sides are good. Sides are good. But yeah, I mean we're almost there. Right?
Oh, okay.
So the more correct you do this part, the longer this axe will last. The less you have to do it.
And it usually depends on the host on how many people you're allowed to bring, right?
Yeah, totally. A host school can set 3 teams per school limit. So, which makes sense because if you bring 24 people, 20 of them are going to want to chop, and you got to have. So what's 20 times 28 inches?
A lot of wood,
A lot of fucking board feet.
which means they have to source it because each school that hosts has to get all their own wood.
Yeah, you have to source your own wood. Which, if you're just a bunch of college kids with pickup trucks, it's a fucking pain in the ass. And no equipment. You know, no skid loaders or grapples or nothing.
It's our situation.
It's a hard situation. So when I was vice president, we hosted. We just called it the spring tournament. We didn't know what to call it. It was the first all college competition after COVID. And what we did is just us with pickup trucks. We went to the dairy farm and cut down a bunch of cottonwoods and did that like 5 times. And trucked it all back over the hill here. It was really hard. And then we did it again for Choptoberfest, and I was president.
Yeah, that was a fun
Yeah.
comp.
Were you
And then-
president your junior year?
No, I was vice
2
president.
2 years ago.
You're VP 2 or something?
I was, so my freshman year was 2019, 2020. And then sophomore year, we weren't allowed out here at all. And because of just full of COVID restrictions and stuff. We weren't bad kids yet. And then I was elected out of a vote of 4 other people to be vice president at the time. And that's how we started. And then I took president afterwards.
You were president in 22, right?
22 to 23. Yeah.
mhm. So that was my first year.
Look at that. Now we're almost there. Probably only got, I don't know, half inch to go. Something like that.
Just forced.
And I just inch my way down. Like I said, I'm in no rush when I do this because if I screw this up, I'm gonna have to do it again tomorrow. Because people are merciless when it comes to chopping.
It's a fun
Hey
one,
Jack,
man.
could you hold the drift?
Yeah.
You trust me?
I don't know, man.
Watch out. Thank you.
Put my trust in you.
Fitters that have their
All right, trade you.
ramrod, they gotta get rid of the ramrod, and either the end would be polished, or if that polish
So,
ran
right,
off, they put
still
their
got
thumb
that.
over the head of it, so you can
We're
see
still
the
pretty
reflection.
even, so we're
And then
cruising.
the other guy
Mhm.
with the sledge swings.
It's also crazy how much
So
the
a lot of
field's
guys
changed
just
and
come-
since
Yeah,
I've
that's
been here.
another thing. So, yeah, me and Riley remodeled this field this summer
South Dakota.
after my first conclave, which was at the University of Montana. And their field is really awesome. So we kind of modeled it after theirs a little bit, restaged everything. The only thing we couldn't move was the vert stands, because that's oil rig pipes, and they're
Jesus.
concrete in the ground about 6 feet deep.
Oh, that would be
So if the university ever asks, those have always been there. We didn't put those in.
What's really
I know who
cool.
put them in.
What's really funny, and I found this out the other day. For some reason, the Snapchat map hasn't been updated, and the satellite view of our field is crazy different. Like just take a look
Yeah,
at
we
it.
used
and,
to have a
like,
couple more OP poles.
well,
We
the
used to have-
picture is of firewood still behind vert.
Yeah, that's where it was.
Oh, so you got obstacles.
The road wasn't even here. There was no gate.
Yeah, and then the choker course used to go straight.
Oh, is this the
OP
song?
was over in the corner, and so was Axo. And what the hell else is here?
There was a
We used to have
butt.
sauce stand right there. And then another one right there.
Was that the big metal one?
Yeah, we tore out of the ground. Okay,
Yeah.
I want somebody else to put hands on this piece of wood here. Eli?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, go ahead. Put these dogs together and do what I did there. Show me how it fits.
Here, Chris, look how different it is. So there's no,
Yeah,
there's not even a
so look
road.
here, like that is the leftover conclave wood from 2019. It was
That's
a
crazy.
couple of truckloads of aspen.
Didn't the pile used to be bigger than this too, or did it
Yeah,
go?
yeah, it was
One
huge.
guy out in here in this forest. That sucks. Besides like the-
Over, bang that dog. Try to strike it right in the middle.
from last year.
Hit it with your purse. Give it one more.
Okay, chopped over. I've only ever seen it.
Okay, right, we're close. We're
Oh
close.
yeah.
No, let me see it.
Not gonna take it?
Yeah, so we got a little bit more cooking, right? I think this will probably be our last modification, and we'll just fucking get on with this one.
How's the angle?
Pretty shitty, exactly.
Actually, it's not bad. I cut this a little cockeyed, but I mean, take a look here. That's pretty good. It could probably close a little bit more. We call that closed when it's inward like that.
But having it be crooked above the head isn't the
That
worst.
looks okay.
Yeah.
That looks all right.
So you take more from the front then?
Just our cross cut.
Yep, I could take more from the front. Jack, I need your help again.
I got you. Oh boy.
Center. Center. Oh. Thanks, Jack. You're a great assistant.
You know, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, competition. Back to that. Learning kind of how the motions of a comp is kind of scary, but it's really cool. I loved like kind of I don't want to say the chaos, but like just how much was going on in a comp, right? It's really cool to be around that many other like-minded people and doing stuff like that. And then, you know, it's hard to stay up with what's going on because there's so much happening so quickly.
How do you decide who gets to go?
Based off of who's practicing, who's putting in the work.
Who's got a good attitude?
Seniority player. Work ethic.
Not really.
Scheduling, you know, you can't go, then
I'd say if you've been here 8 years and you never show up to practice, you have like no right to go to a comp, right? Versus
I mean,
the
that's
freshman
part of the
that's
reason
been
we
there every
keep a
day.
sign-up sheet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What's also really cool is that like we're friends with a lot of the teams, and we only see them at competition. So it's like a mix of like get the chaos and competition, but also like shooting the shit
Alright,
with
so I'm
people
gonna
you haven't
fucking put
seen.
this
and-
thing on
Sounds
here.
nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yo, camp there?
Fucking do it.
Like, where,
we
where
do.
is
So
it?
Idaho will probably camp, which is a little
That's
cold,
so
but
high.
it's really fun.
Sick.
I mean, it's only like 3,000 feet there, so it's like
It is
for
wet.
November, it's not horrible. But
It's usually wet.
I'm camping colder.
okay, so now
Yeah.
when I get
It's
down
fun,
here, I
It
fucking
is.
put a little mustard on it, right?
Because, you know, it's hard to get an Airbnb.
And you'll
for, like,
notice
30
sometimes
people.
the sound changes once you bottomed out.
Hell, I wouldn't want one.
Hear that?
Camping's way more
It's kind of
fun.
fun. But...
We're in,
All
dude.
right, there we go.
I like it. I like the smell on that. So that is pretty doggone tight. Sometimes what you can do is if you're really trying to be artsy and make it nice is you can take a razor or a sharp knife and chamfer that inside edge of the curve.
Mhm.
And the reason you do that is so that the wedge doesn't peel. It just has a really nice smooth entry.
Can you not
So take a look at this wedge, right? It's bigger than the eye of the axe, right? So we gotta trim that dog. I have a really bad way of doing this. Sometimes I'll just take a flathead screwdriver. You probably should saw it or use a sander. You can use a knife because it's poplar. Just try not to cut yourself.
Those poplar dogs pretty soft.
It's very soft.
That's why when you're felling, it's like also pretty dangerous.
Oh, because the holding one ain't so much holding.
Go barber chair. Oh! So yeah, and then if guys, if you really want to stop, hey, it's a bug. You want to style, you can take that edge off a little tiny bit, right? And just style it.
When does the denim come in?
Oh, we're late. We forgot it.
No!
Let's put it in.
Let's put in the denim.
You're right. We're late. Thank you for reminding me.
What would have happened?
Jack, oh.
I know, it would have been
Yeah, we
Logic
would.
gods would have shut this down.
all of our
Yeah, you-
would have just started. troubling.
You can't disrespect tradition, right?
Lightning would hit this course.
Another
Maybe while we're here, I'll just use this final file and just kind of smooth that up real quick. Just because it's off.
So you didn't realize the denim went into the process.
The denim goes in, yeah.
So it's just hanging
So-
out there?
Yeah, take a look at some of the older axes in there, and you'll see either like a piece of flannel or denim or sandpaper.
I think I've seen the sandpaper before.
Okay, you might have to give it a little,
You want a hand?
little bonus here. Okay.
What?
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you. This is it. Let's see if it sucks it up in there. It didn't suck it up in there. We're gonna roll with it.
You just cut off the rest of it.
One more.
I think you should just keep
Okay,
it
do you hear
up.
the difference?
Yeah, that was a big difference.
Yeah, we'll cut that off. But it's in there, and that's what matters, right?
think
We
it
got
gives it
some.
character.
Is it to,
Yeah, I
is it
kinda like
is it to have a barrier between just the head and the handle? But
I don't know.
you don't
I literally have no idea.
Yeah,
have some
Have a
denim,
little
denim,
denim
hanging
skirt.
hanging out of your axe.
next year when we're hanging these, those are gonna stay.
I'm assuming you sharpen your pocket knife too.
I do. Drinking a yerba today.
Didn't Olivia? Was it Olivia's brother that helped
Chris,
found it?
like, YouTube
Something like that.
freaking a yerba today.
Okay, so if you got a real fragile wedge, you can take a 2x4 and put it on there. Something to remember: if you break the wedge, it's cool. This is cool. Pound the fuck out of it. Look, I'm already like fucking sunk on this piece.
What's the point of the wedge?
We're expanding the wood on top to fill
That
the
makes sense.
void and create pressure.
You don't
So
want the
I'm
head
gonna
flying
bang
off.
the frig out of it. See, I broke the wedge. I don't care. I'm gonna keep going downtown Vic Brown.
I like your mentality with this.
See how the wedge is starting to peel?
Mhm.
See that? I was talking about earlier. Now you can style it and fucking shape that shit a little bit. Just wedge it.
What
might
happens if the
split.
wedge is too small? Too like short.
Get a
on
bigger
wedges?
wedge.
Don't you sometimes glue, or is that when you're replacing?
There's the problem with glue. If you do glue, you won't be able to get that wedge out.
Oh.
So if you got to reset the head, sometimes that happens. It gets loose, or you didn't hang it right the first time. Sometimes you can do that. You can pop the wedge out and replace it. That's good. I'm satisfied with that. I don't think that head's going nowheres. So now what I'll do is I'll throw this sucker back in the vise,
trim it.
the Vic, and we'll trim it. And I think I'm actually gonna take a little bit of the handle off. What's going on there?
Oh, okay.
I'll take a little bit of the handle off too, just because I cut it crooked earlier, and I want this to be styling, super styling, right? So we take our guy here.
Damn.
Hey,
So you get most
I
of
still leave a little bit on top because I like to have a little bit of material hanging out above the axe head, right? Because if you have the wood mushroomed out over the top, it's less likely to slip out. I mean, we're still gonna pin this dog, but I think it looks nice. Also, you guys might see cross ties. So you guys know what cross ties are?
On top?
Yeah, or yeah, you'll see that fancy shit on Instagram where they'll put in another wood wedge. That's bullshit. Nobody actually does that. That's for show.
It doesn't seem necessary.
That's perfect, right? The true cross tie is it looks like a little metal wedge. You pulled them out earlier,
Like it.
and
It goes
yeah, you'll
perpendicular,
put them in
yeah.
like that. Horrible idea. I don't know who started doing that. The Forest Service and all their smartness tells you not to do that. Even so, because what can happen is when you put those in, you'll actually split the fibers of the handle this way, like that, and then what's going to happen is that fracture is going to just carry down.
Seems counterintuitive.
It is counterintuitive. So, cut that pretty good, not gonna lie. So I'll take my finer file here, and I'll chamfer those edges. You guys remember why I said I'm doing that? Yeah, it's half for style, but there's actually
there's some actual.
Prevent it
there's
from
a-
coming back up, right?
no. There's a functional purpose to chamfering edges. Come on, guys.
No.
It won't splinter. So if it gets hit on the corner like that or something, it won't splinter as easy.
Huh.
Versus if you have a sharp corner, it'll splinter, and the fibers will separate.
Good to know.
Oh, dude. So yeah, now check out how full we try to fill up that entire handle. the eye. We tried to fill it up, and we got pretty damn close. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. So, right, we're at stage 9 here. What I'm gonna do now, this is a tiny, tiny hole. Would you pass me the drill? Let's see if we can even fit this pupper in there. I'm gonna take a drill. Oh yeah, we're fit. I think I missed. That's good. I like to drill it out a little bit. Some of these holes are bigger, because I think if you... Angus likes to put the roll pin in without drilling it out. I think sometimes it splinters the wood a little prematurely. This is called a roll pin. Here you see it's got a slot, and that's because this can compress and expand. That's tighter. That's tight. But here's how you do it.
Nice.
Bang that fucker in there, and yeah, we're good now. So now, yeah, all that really is doing is keeping the head attached to the wood. So when I swing like this way, it's not gonna slide out.
It's like one extra measure.
So we're done. We're done with the hard work. What we need to do now, just one more step, put some oil on it. And then if you really want to style it, you take another razor, and you see how we got little shavings up here? You just kind of squeeze those off. You're super stylish. Joe's here. Yeah, let's get some linseed oil, and let's oil that pig up, and then would you guys like to do one more? I'll let you guys do it. I'm not going to touch it. Maximilian. Come on, be more like Max,
All right,
guys.
I'm gonna.
Owen's here.
I don't think
Yeah,
we need to
turn
watch-
that
I
on.
don't think we need to watch you.